A few months ago, I couldn't build any apps or really anything. At least, not the traditional way. I wasn't a developer, I'm really still not, and I didn't go to school for computer science. I actually dropped out of college my first semester. And I sure as hell was not writing thousands of lines of code. But today I've actually built multiple apps, I've got paying customers, and I've built software that people are actually using. And I've even built custom software projects worth thousands of dollars. One of those actually landed me $3,000 within the first month. And honestly, the hardest part wasn't building it. The hardest part was figuring out what to build. That's the part that nobody talks about. Everybody's talking about AI. Everybody's talking about vibe coding. Everybody is posting screenshots of apps that they've built in a weekend. But very few people are actually talking about the thing that actually makes you money, solving problems. Because here's the truth. AI has made building software easier than ever, but it hasn't made understanding people easier. It hasn't made finding opportunities easier. And it definitely hasn't made solving real world problems easier. And that's where the money is. The people making money right now aren't necessarily the best programmers. They're actually losing their jobs to AI. They're the people who understand problems. They're the people who notice inefficiencies. They're the people who hear someone complain about something and think, wait a second, I could build something that fixes that. So in this video, I'm going to show you, one, the framework that I use to find software ideas, how I found the project that turned into $3,000, the exact process that I use before building anything, the top vibe coding tools that are available right now, how to get your first real users, and how you can do all of this even if you've never written a line of code or even understand any of the technicalities. Let's get into it. One of the biggest misconceptions about AI is that building software is still the hard part. And it's not, as we've all proven and we've all seen. Building is becoming easier every single month. You can literally type, build me a customer portal, or build me a scheduling app, or build me a CRM, and AI will generate something that's surprisingly usable really fast. A year ago, learning how to code was the barrier. Today, that barrier is completely gone, which means the advantage has totally shifted. If everyone can build, then building is no longer the advantage. Knowing what to build is. And that's why I think that we're entering a completely different era. The people who win won't necessarily be the best developers. They'll be the best problem solvers. They'll be the people who pay attention. Whenever somebody says, this takes forever, or I hate doing this, or this entire process is so annoying, that's where the opportunities come from. I actually get excited when I hear people complain now, because every complaint is a potential business idea. Every frustration is a potential software idea. Every repetitive task is potentially something that can be automated. So instead of asking, what app should I build? You need to start asking, what problem can or should I solve? And that question changes absolutely everything. So how do you actually find these problems? So here's a framework that I use. Question number one, what tasks are repetitive? If somebody is doing the same thing every single day, there's probably an opportunity there. Sending emails, tracking customers, creating quotes, managing your orders, or updating spreadsheets. Software loves repetitive tasks. Question number two, what frustrates people? People pay to remove frustration. Nobody buys a software because the software is exciting or it's cool. People buy software because doing something manually is annoying. Now, question number three, what is currently being managed through spreadsheets? Whenever I see a business running on spreadsheets or noting everything down on spreadsheets, my ears just immediately perk up because that's usually a sign that software could help. Question number four, what requires constant communication? Follow-ups, status updates, reminders, customer questions, anything that requires repeating the same conversations over and over. Question number five, can this save somebody time or can it make them money? Because if the answer is yes, you're onto something. People ask me all the time, where do you get your ideas? And honestly, I don't sit down trying to invent ideas anymore. I wasted so much time doing that. Now I collect problems. Every time something annoys me, I write it down. Every time a customer complains, I write it down. Every time somebody says, I wish there was a better way to do this. You figured, you guessed it, I write it down. Because successful software usually isn't invented, it's observed. And the best founders aren't necessarily smarter. They simply just pay attention better. They start listening to people, their friends, their family, different business owners. These are the best ones. Customers. What are they complaining about? What wastes their time? What are they getting frustrated over? Those conversations are where software ideas come from. Now, let me give you a real world example. The project that inspired this video, pretty much. The one that ended up being worth around $3,000 right out the gate. It didn't start with some genius startup idea. It started with a simple conversation. I was talking to a business owner, and they were managing pretty much everything manually, as a lot of people do. Customer information was in one place, payments were somewhere else, and notes were, I don't know, in the notepad, I guess, on their computer's notepad. Tracking was also God knows where. And everything technically worked, but it was so scattered and unorganized. So I started asking questions. What's annoying? What's taking the most time? What's causing your biggest headaches? And eventually, a pattern started to emerge. And the problem wasn't complicated. The information just wasn't organized, and that was it. So instead of reinventing their business, which people don't want, I built a system that's around their existing workflow. It just had one dashboard, one place, one process. That's it. And immediately they understood the value because everything was in one place. Not because the software was revolutionary, but because it solved their real problem. And that's the lesson. You don't need revolutionary ideas. You need useful ones. So let me give you the $100,000 question. This is the question that completely changed how I think about software and web apps. What is the problem worth? Not what is this app worth? What is the problem worth? Let's say your software saves somebody 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours a month, 240 hours a year. How much is that worth? I don't know, probably a lot, especially for a business owner. Or maybe your software helps them close one extra customer every month, or helps them avoid mistakes, or helps them respond faster. That's value. People don't buy software, they buy the outcomes. So more money, more time, less stress. That's what's actually selling. All right, so now let's talk the tools, because eventually you're going to need to build something, right? So let's start with Base 44. This is the platform that I've personally used the most. It's fast, it's super beginner friendly, and it's great for business applications. You can build user accounts, databases, dashboards, AI features, a payment system or gateway. You can do a lot without touching any code. Then you have Lovable. Lovable has become incredibly popular. It's great for SaaS products or service as a software. It's great for startup ideas, web apps, and it creates really nice interfaces. Then you have Cloud Code, which is a little bit different. You're working closer to actual development. So you do have more flexibility, more control, but it does have a slightly bigger learning curve, but it's extremely powerful. And then you have Bolt. And quite frankly, Bolt is one of the fastest ways to get something up and running, or an MVP, a minimum viable product. You describe what you want and it generates it. You test it, you improve it, you repeat. Then you have Replit. Replit sits somewhere between traditional coding and vibe coding. It's a great place to learn while still getting a lot of AI assistance. And honestly, don't spend the 3 weeks comparing tools. Just pick one and start building. Just start with one, and if you don't like it, then just go on to the next one. Trust me, you're gonna learn a lot more in 1 weekend building and just playing around with these rather than 3 months of watching videos. Now, before I actually build anything, I validate it, which is what you should do too. Because one of the biggest mistakes that people make is spending months building something that literally nobody wants. Before I spend some serious time building something, I ask, would somebody actually pay for this? Not necessarily use it, but pay for it. And those are completely different things. I start talking to potential users. Just go on Facebook, on Reddit, whatever it may be. Go to different communities. And then I don't talk about the features. I talk about the outcomes. So what problem can this solve, or what frustration can this remove from somebody's day-to-day? Or what does it save? Time, money. And then I start to pay attention to what people are telling me, to the feedback that I'm getting. You also need to pay attention to their emotions. Do they get excited? Do they immediately understand the value? Do they start asking questions? Those are usually pretty good signs. And then I build the smallest possible version. Not version 10, not version 1, version 0.1. Just enough to solve the core problem, and then I get feedback, and then I start to improve on it. Then I get more feedback, and that's how the software process pretty much goes. That's how the software gets built. Now, this is something that I wish also more people talked about. After you build something, don't immediately try to monetize it. You need to figure out if it actually works in the real world. So first, get users, get real users. One of the fastest ways to improve your software is to let people use it for free, because users are going to tell you things that AI can't, or things that you can't find when you're testing your software yourself. And trust me, I thought I had my app all figured out. And then came the real world problems. So users are going to find the real bugs. They're going to get confused. Users will use your software in ways that you actually never expected it to be used. And that's where the real learning happens. One thing I love doing is finding communities where my target users already hang out. Again, places like Reddit or Facebook groups, even Discord communities, anywhere people are actively discussing problems that you're trying to solve or in that niche. Let's say that you built a software for gym owners. Go where gym owners are. Did you build something for Etsy sellers? Go to where Etsy sellers are. Look for a Facebook group full of Etsy sellers. Did you build something for t-shirt businesses? Go to where t-shirt businesses are on Reddit, a subreddit. And trust me, don't spam people, don't pitch people. Instead, start off honest. Say something like, hey everyone, I built this tool to solve X problem. It's totally free right now, and I'd love to get some honest feedback. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to test something. Sometimes just to criticize you, but hey, take what you need. And this goes especially when you're trying to help them or when it's a software that's going to help them. Negative feedback is usually, actually it's always a lot more valuable than positive feedback. If somebody says, this doesn't make sense, then good, now you know. Don't take it to heart, fix it. If somebody says that I wish it could do this, that's golden right there. They're literally telling you what they want. And what they want, chances are, a lot of other people want. One of the biggest advantages that you have as a small creator is speed. You can get feedback today, make the updates tonight, and release improvements literally tomorrow. Use that advantage. Don't obsess over making your first version perfect. I made that mistake and I wasted tons of time. Look, the goal, again, isn't perfection. The goal is learning. You need to build, you need to test, you need to learn, you need to improve, and then you repeat. Now, one really important thing that social media has convinced people of is that every idea needs to be the next Uber, the next Shopify, the next billion-dollar startup, the next AutoDS. It doesn't. Let's say that you build a tool for local businesses and you charge, I don't know, $50 a month. You get 20 customers, that's $1,000 a month already. Now, maybe you offer setup services. Maybe you could do custom versions. These are super, super valuable. You can find another niche, another product. The point is, you don't need millions of users. You need people with problems. You don't need millions of users for one app. You need different users spread out across different apps. And that's it. And there are a lot more opportunities than most people realize. So if I were starting from zero today, here's exactly what I would do. I'd make a list of 10 things that annoy people. And then I'd make a list of 10 repetitive tasks that businesses do. Then I start to look for the overlap. Then I'd pick one problem, not 10 of them, just one. And then I'd choose one tool, not test every single one, just one of them. And then I'd build the smallest possible solution. I'd show it to real people on Reddit, collect feedback, improve it, and then repeat. And that's literally it. It's super simple, but it's very effective and very lucrative. The biggest opportunity with AI isn't AI itself. It's the regular people that can now build the software. The tools will change. The technology will change. But understanding people, understanding problems, and creating value, those skills aren't going to go anywhere. And honestly, at least for now, it's hard for AI to fix that or to replicate that. So again, don't start by asking, what should I build? Start by asking, what problem can I solve? Because that's where businesses come from. That's where the money comes from. And that's exactly how I ended up building my $3,000 project without being a traditional developer. And the crazy thing is that we're still early. So start paying attention. And if you want to see exactly how I built my app using Base 44, then check out this video right here.